Most people spend their 20s chasing the wrong things, and it costs them years of their life that they'll never get back. That's why I sat down with Aimee Smale, founder of Odd Muse, the fashion brand she scaled to $30 million a year before turning 28. In the next few minutes, Aimee shares 12 brutal truths about success, money, and growth that could put you years ahead of the competition. Let's go.
Here we go, the first one.
So the first one is, you don't have to be built for this. And this actually come up for me this week. This week in particular, I have just been feeling like maybe I wasn't built for this because I'm quite a sensitive person. I've got all these things about me that maybe on paper, if you're looking on how to be an entrepreneur, those traits aren't there. Mm-hmm. And then I had this conversation with myself where I just kind of said, but I did it anyway. I think it's the people that just do it anyway. Yes. Despite maybe not liking having difficult conversations with people. You're building a team, you're having difficult conversations every single day. You're dealing with stress, you might be super sensitive. And yeah, I kind of got in my head the other day, like, I'm not actually built to be an entrepreneur.
But who decides that? That's the thing,
exactly.
Isn't it?
And it is really just the people that keep going and just do it anyway, despite not feeling they are built for this, not feeling like they can do it. I personally feel like success is guaranteed. I've read a book before called The Compound Effect. And this basically boils success down to basic science, kind of. If you eat healthy, you're going to reach your nutrition goal. If you go to the gym, you're going to reach your fitness goal. The only reason you wouldn't reach those goals is if you didn't eat healthy or if you stopped going to the gym. So
persistence is key.
Yeah, and it's like you're actually only going to fail if you give up, and it's the people that keep going. So yeah, I guess a really basic way of saying it is just do it anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of, you might be having a bad week where you feel like, I'm not actually built for this, I don't know what I'm doing. But it's that pivotal moment where you either just start it or you just keep going. Number 2, money solves problems, but it also creates new ones. And this kind of relates to, I feel like your whole business journey, you're going to be worried about the numbers. And it feels really intense at the beginning because you kind of like need that money, you need that revenue for either your first hire or even to like pay the staff that you do have. That always follows you on your journey. You might be 5 years into your journey and you're not hitting your growth target, or you're down from last year, and people are kind of like, there's that worry. So I feel like money is always going to be a bit of an issue. And I feel like I used to worry a lot at the beginning and almost feel like when I hit this point in revenue, or when I used to put like a deadline on not being stressed about money anymore. But the idea is that we should always just be conscious of it. And because we are conscious of it and because we are thinking about it all the time, that's why we are able to kind of like reach our goals in revenue.
I think money is actually a made up thing as well. So I spent my whole life trying to make money. And then when I made money, I was worried about losing money. So it's like, if you can just accept...
I've always said to myself when I first started my business, I didn't know a lot, but I've always been a big dreamer. So I would always say to myself, money is easy. Right. I would say that every single night, every single morning. And the way in which I would put it is, if money is so easily kind of spent, why can it not be accumulated and made so easy?
And there's so much money out there too.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've always, whether it was like a crazy like thought of mine, I've always told myself money is easy.
And for those listening might be like, it's okay for you now, you've got money.
No, I told myself that when I, spent my whole life savings that I was going to put on a deposit. That is what made me take the risk. I was like, money is easy. This was going to buy me a house, but it's going to come back, money is easy.
So you didn't put money down for a house, you put it into your business instead?
Yes.
It's literally like what I've written in my book. People have to realise that you have to put money into something that's going to make you money, not sit in a house that doesn't actually, if you sell it, you're not going to make money easily.
The way I saw it was, if I was going to buy a house at 23 years old, I wasn't going to start my business because all of a sudden I had a responsibility. And I think responsibilities can stop you from starting things, right, which is,
it's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I felt like if I kind of thought to myself, I'll buy the house and then I'll start my business, I knew it wasn't going to happen for me.
I've often heard you say, and for people listening, this is kind of controversial, I guess, my first million is the hardest. What nearly killed you, you said, I think. Well, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it kind of goes back to a point in my journey where I remember being so chronically stressed and mentally I was in a really bad place. But now I look back on that moment and I'm like, I'm doing things 100 times bigger than that now. And I think that point, and it was leading up to my first £1 million in revenue, that is where I actually felt my lowest and where I kind of really struggled. And now I feel like we are working on much bigger things. And if I could go back to having those problems when I was my most stressed, I honestly would. So I think my point really is that you really might feel like you're at the end of this journey and it's really not for you and you maybe can't cope. But what is coming right around the corner is this kind of like wealth of experience. You can deal with those fires 10 times over again and you are just becoming an entrepreneur.
Just that very early stage, can you remember the first thing you were really stressed about? I guess it was probably like using your life savings.
It was around 2 years into my business where I was kind of like, okay, we're doing really well online, we're going viral. I understand how short that moment is for people. And I really wanted Odd Muse to be up there with, you know, the best of the best. And I knew I had to get the brand out there in real life. So I started thinking about stores. I did London Fashion Week. And London Fashion Week was our first, like, in real life thing. That was the first event that I spent over, like, £50,000 on. Wow. And that was a lot that was a big risk for me again.
Spent £50,000 on one event?
Yes.
Wow.
On London Fashion Week.
And at that point, what was your profit sort of thing? Do you think that must have been all your profit, I'm guessing, roughly? Yes. Wow. But
overnight, my orders doubled.
Right.
And we have experienced that every time we've done something.
If someone made £50,000, they'd probably keep it in the bank, you know what I mean? Like.
Oh, yeah, right.
So that risk again and again.
Again and again.
But yeah. when you signed up to it, there must have been a moment you're like, no, I shouldn't do this. This is too much. Or
events are a funny one, really, because they kind of like you set a budget and they go over and then you're kind of in too deep. So events are a little bit different. But I think, anything we've done in real life, we see so much traction and interest online as well. Right. And it kind of like doubles your brand.
Because people think online's enough. You're making a very important point when you're talking about social for a second, because I have the same.
Well, I just think e-commerce and there's a day where it's going to become saturated. Right. And even going into bricks and mortar, everyone kind of told me that bricks and mortar was dead after 2020 and people don't shop in store anymore. And it's like, well, how are you ever going to be able to create that experience online that you can in person?
I guess also geographically, not everyone can get to the store.
Exactly.
So how long were you doing online before you went into the physical stores?
3 years.
3 years. So you spent a long time building up a base first. By the way, this is the Amazon strategy, right? Amazon built up the online and then they went and bought physical shops. They bought Whole Foods, they bought B&Q, you know, like people don't even realise. So even Amazon realised you need a physical product in the end.
Well, I just think if everyone's going to be online, I'll be the person in store and you can all come to my store.
Right.
It's nice. Sometimes it's not risky to be different. Sometimes it's actually an advantage. Yeah. None of my competitors had stores. And that's kind of the way I saw it. I wasn't looking at the way of the world right now. I was looking at what aren't people doing, not why aren't they doing it, what aren't they doing, and I'll do that.
But when you say work will break you before it makes you, I think what you're actually saying is you've got to break your own self-limiting beliefs and push the boundaries each time. So in other words, don't get comfortable.
Yes.
If you get comfortable, that'll be the real break.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's the opposite. I think it's kind of interesting because a lot of people don't want stress.
Yeah.
And in a way, you don't grow unless you have it, right? You need to be broken, like push the limits to grow.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to save you. And having got to know you, you are very positive. This feels a bit negative.
No, my thing is that it's a real world out there.
Right.
Some of the problems I run into on a weekly basis, if I phone my friends and family, they'd have a heart attack. We recently did an event at the tennis, I have to say the tennis, and we wasn't allowed to post photos with the green chairs, and we accidentally did, and we didn't know. No, I thought we was just able to. I thought it was just we was allowed.
Did the tennis police come after you, did they?
Yeah. Anyone who knows Odd Muse, this was a very big moment for us to attend this year. And I thought for about 2 weeks straight I was going to get fined £100,000 and nobody was coming to save me, even running it through ChatGPT, like, what's the history on this? And they're like, well, history says around £50,000 to £100,000 fine. So that's what I mean in nobody is coming to save you. Like, you're going to be presented fires every single day that are totally new to you. Maybe no one in your team knows how to deal with this. Maybe no one in your family knows how to deal with this. but that doesn't mean that you get to like tap out.
I think the way I'd put it more positively is know your downside.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, it's like, okay, you probably should have done your research ahead of time. You didn't, this happened by mistake. So, but you now know 100,000 is your downside. The question is, can you afford it?
Yeah.
And if you can't, innovation kicks in. You say, right, let's turn it into a positive PR moment. And you get a PR company or someone big to sponsor you to deal with this moment and say, you're hurting an up-and-coming brand because we posted a photo. And if they sue you, it's a chance to sell more product.
I'm going to change it to don't panic.
Yeah, don't panic.
Don't panic.
Do you know what, though? There's nobody's coming to save you I can really relate to because my mum kicked me out of home at 15 after my father had died.
Right.
And I had the same feeling. I'm like, my brothers are too young to help me. My mum has abandoned me and my father is gone.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to save me. And I cried my eyes out for the longest period of time over that feeling. And then I'm like, you know what? Okay, I have to do it myself. You take agency over your life and you take responsibility for your actions. It's actually liberating.
I think that's what it links to. Like, owning a business is a big responsibility, and that is just the reality.
Yeah. Strangers come to save you when you don't expect it, i.e. your customers.
Yes.
Right? 100% promise
That's
you,
very true.
if your customers found out this happened, they would rally.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's
oddly,
very true.
maybe you're, you know, like in my case, you know, my mum won't save me. The people you think are going to save you don't, but the ones you don't expect do sometimes.
Yeah,
they shock you, right? So
I like that one.
But it's still, you know, no one's coming to save you,
quite
folks. You're fucked. All right? Comparison is the theft of joy.
Yep.
Is so true.
I think in life and business.
Yeah.
Because I think in business, a lot of like old-fashioned lessons are look at what your competitors are doing. What are they doing? Do something similar or do something better. And I have actually seen the most benefit in like the first 5 years of my business in being totally focused on what I want to do and what my business needs. I have not cared what any of my competitors are doing. I have not cared. Also, this is another thing, I've also been very comfortable with the fact that my customer doesn't exclusively wear Odd Muse. And I think that's a good thing to know. Like, be comfortable with the fact that your customer maybe likes your business, but he or she also consumes another business that is similar. I'm very comfortable. I'm not wearing all Odd Muse today. So I think that's really important because some people can go into the business world like a little bit too aggressive. It makes you a bit gatekeepy. I don't think it's good for the community that you're trying to build. And I think focusing on you and your business without any outside influence is super important. And obviously, comparison is the thief of joy in life and business.
One thing I love about doing this channel is it's important to give people lots of different points of view because advice is a bit, it's got to be more personal to you.
Yeah.
For me, I completely agree with everything you said. The one thing is I quite like having a goal and sometimes your competition can motivate you.
Yes.
So if I see people, like, for example, I think what Stephen Bartlett's done on his podcast is amazing.
Yeah.
And so I don't compare myself to him, although I just overtook him on Instagram, just saying. But I don't. You know, I actually admire him. I consider him a friend.
Yep.
But I also like having, not comparison, but almost like a...
Yeah, I think it's knowing...
Someone you can improve yourself because you see...
I definitely have some, like, dream brands and, like, even dream customers and stuff like that. I guess it's just sensing what kind of... When you're looking at a competitor or you're looking at someone else's business, I guess it's kind of like sensing straight away, like, do they make you feel ambitious or is there something here where
Envy's
you're really,
word,
like...
Yeah.
Comparing yourself in a negative way.
Actually, I'm really excited about this brand. Steve Bartlett just invested in it. We just invested in it.
Cool.
And they help create, because, you know, sometimes when you're a creator, you have to, like, build a website and try and figure out e-commerce and all that. It's like a link in bio tool that lets you run your whole digital life from it. And actually, I think for, like, the younger generation who want to make money from their social, you don't want them to have to spend a lot of money building a website and trying to figure out e-commerce. It's expensive, actually, these days, isn't it? Like, I don't recommend products lightly. I just told Aimee, someone I really respect about Stan Store, because I want her to know how useful these products are. And you need to know. You can use this product to book your calls. It even integrates with LinkedIn. It helps you make money and reduces your cost. It can remove all products you're probably using right now. Loads of products that cost you huge monthly amounts of money, and you can use this product for a fraction of the cost.
Stan works for any business at any stage. Whether you're selling a simple $10 ebook or booking $200 coaching calls, you can sell it directly through Stan. It's the engine under the hood that powers the sale of any digital product in your business.
Plus, I've managed to secure, through John, the founder of this company, a 30-day free trial for you to try out. And yes, I will make money if you use the product from an affiliate income from it. And I will use that money to fund dreams just like yours. So it's a win-win. And if you download this product today, I promise you, within a week, you'll be thanking me. It will save you money and make you money. Go check it out. Rejection is your education. Let's talk about this, because I think I always frame it up as like, failure is good. That's what people hear a lot, right?
Yeah.
So it feels like a different take on that. Tell us.
So I think with me over the years, a lot of people's experience of Muse is that it's been super positive, but I've had loads of buyers tell me no, that I've had like big dreams. I've flown to New York to meet with a buyer, and it's, you know, it's actually happened now, but it's taken me 2 years to get this through the line. There's just been a few times where rejection has really changed my direction for the better. There was definitely a version of me before I started business that would really hide from rejection and feel really embarrassed, and it would really stop me from moving on to the next step. But now, I mean, I always say, like, I love learning, and I feel like rejection is a lesson always. And we have to keep learning. Like, we're never going to get to a point where we know everything. And I think we spoke about this earlier. Kind of every day is a school day. I think in this 5th year of business, I'm kind of really like welcoming rejection. And even from like a product perspective, you might do some, I've had collections in Odd Muse that have done terrible and have really, really knocked my confidence, but have steered the brand in such an amazing way and changed it all over again. So I remember when we did a collection in 2022, I did a huge party in LA for it. It was I spent every single penny in my bank account to do this party. And the next day, it didn't sell anything. And I was like, what's happened? Because I've flown to LA, I've done this big event, I've paid for people from Selling Sunset to be there. It's a huge risk, and it hasn't worked. And that was a point where I was like, people really don't like that product, and that's okay. And product is really important, and it's more than PR. And it's funny, I now actually use that story a lot on like my TikTok account. So going back to what you said, where it's like, if you're in a bit of a disaster, definitely speak on it. But yeah, there's just been so many points where that knocks my confidence on doing summer collections for years. And last year, our resort collection grossed like £500,000 in the first hour. And it's like, because I went into the next summer knowing that she doesn't like sequins and she doesn't like all this stuff that I did last summer. So I think, yeah, rejection is your best lesson.
Easy said, though, because a lot of people are like, I'd rather not fail, right? I'd rather not lose my money. But the best way to learn is by doing something.
Absolutely.
And that's true if you succeed and true if you fail, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Burnout is real, but it's different for everyone.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of content online for entrepreneurs and for people that are maybe, I mean, my case was I was building Odd Muse alongside a full-time job. Definitely. I've had that a few times. And the content online is kind of like, oh, you know, take a break and stuff like that. That doesn't work for me. I need to just like get it all done and then definitely take that break. But you can't just like, I mean, this is me personally, and I think my point is, it is different for everyone. Work out what burnout is for you and how you know that you're burnt out, because you might just be like, I've had plenty of days that are just like a bad day at work that I've branded burnout.
What do you think is burnout, if you would categorise it as a symptom?
I think burnout for me is obviously like being super stressed, but it's also, burnout for me is when I'm really not enjoying my job anymore, because I started my business because I love fashion and I love what I do and I love creating. And burnout for me is when I'm not feeling creative. So sometimes it doesn't look like I can't get out of bed today, I'm so stressed, don't talk to me. Sometimes it is, I'm not my most creative self, I'm not in the best place right now for my business. Sometimes it's not just like getting away from your business. I think it's, for me, it's falling back in love with my business. And for me, for example, I love like working on new projects. So like when we do the stores, I love working towards projects. I get a little bit burnt out and uncreative when I'm kind of on my laptop all the time and I'm like fixing loads of things. So for me, I always like to make sure that at the end of the year, we always have a big moment. So like this year we're opening like a huge second store in London. We're actually opening a store on New Bond Street.
Right, wow, okay.
And there's not a brand like Odd News on that street.
That's so exciting.
And it's like none of my customers have ever been able to like shop there regularly. I can't shop there regularly. And it's kind of welcoming them down. Like we can shop on New Bond Street. And I think if I didn't have that big project to look forward to, I do feel like I get really kind of like burnt out.
You need winning moments to lift you up, right? Because again, I'm always conscious of the whole like entrepreneurship, you know, everyone should do it, which is a little bit my message, but I'm actually kind of saying it's the journey that's fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, and there will be highs and lows, because a lot of people tell me they want to be happy, right? I think you can't be happy all the time.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous thing to desire. I think better to have like a mission. And on that mission, you have highs and lows, but you need to have a mission.
Yeah.
In our team, we always say, like, one thing that kind of we feel was achieved today. It can be a small thing, like we helped one person today, or you helped someone feel good in their workplace today, because that little win can actually help you get through the week.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, as you say, like one big win, like a new store opening up.
Yeah.
All this pain becomes worth it, right?
And I also think as well at the beginning, I was really kind of like burnt out and overwhelmed because everything at the beginning is so new. So I guess it's kind of like normalising that and kind of like being a bit treacherous, because I knew straight away in those first 3 years when I was getting super overwhelmed, the sacrifice was that I had to keep going. I didn't have time for burnout in those first 3 years. Like I genuinely didn't.
Which
so
in
I think
itself can actually be quite useful.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like different for everyone. Like if you kind of like stop in your tracks and have to stop because you're burnt out, in the beginning stages, that might not be the best thing for your business. So I think it is that moment where you kind of like keep going and constantly reassess what burnout is to you and kind of how you need to deal with it, because it's not maybe what you see online where it's kind of like so much self-care and like taking some time out, but it might be, but it also might not be.
This leads us on to something I know myself, having built a lot of companies. You will outgrow people.
Yeah.
So talk
and
to us a
I think that's okay, because I feel like, especially when you're starting something and you have a startup, I remember first when people started to leave Odd News, I mean, it hasn't happened loads, but I took that so to heart.
Yeah, I
was like,
cried the first person left me in my company.
I mean, I still cry, but I take it so personally, and it's actually okay for people to be on a different path. It's actually okay 100%. For people to prefer that kind of like messy startup vibe where they're across a lot of things and they maybe don't want that structure of a scaling business. Yeah. Some people really welcome senior management. That's kind of my first experience, because I've had like the same two best friends forever, and I haven't really experienced outgrowing people in my business because everyone from the start of Odd News has been really supportive, and I'm very blessed. Like I've got the same friends, I've got the same boyfriend, like I've had a really good experience. So coming into a phase where Odd News is growing up and people want it to be how it was in year 1 and 2, that's fine. And that's also going to happen again and again, because, you know, it's not just your journey, it's theirs as well. It's the people that are on this journey with you. They have their own journey and they have their own dream. And I think it's kind of accepting that. And that's like something 100%. That I kind of struggled with, because, you know, I get really attached to like people, especially if they've been with me for a long time.
I think this is so important. I mean, I love business because it actually relates a lot to life as well, right? You will, like the people I went to school with, they're probably listening right now, we're probably not going to be friends anymore. They stayed in the same town. They didn't go. I went and lived in Hong Kong, which doesn't make me better or worse than them. I make that clear. But I just have a completely different view on the world because of my life experiences. Yeah. So when I go back to my hometown, which is Sydney, and I talk to people I was friends at school with, and I say, I love Hong Kong. Like, why don't you go back there then? I probably will, you know. But then you feel that tension. It's like, I'm not saying I don't like where I came from, but I've changed. Yeah. We do change. Yeah. People say people don't change. You do. Like your life experiences will shape you.
And that's okay. And I think, that is 100% going to happen for you more in business than it actually does life. I feel like there's a turning point in life where that happens, but in business it can happen every single year. 100%. It depends how big your business is and how many people are there. Number 9, and this is a big thing for me, is success can feel lonely. And that really stems from going through a lot of stress and feeling like I don't know who to pick up the phone and call about this. So like not really being able to, like, for example, my mum and dad really worry about my outgoings of the business. I had a situation in Dubai where I put a huge deposit down on a store that basically wasn't ever going to happen. Oh no. And I lost a lot of money. And there was like a week where it was like, I didn't know if I was committed to like paying this like rent for 10 years that I couldn't afford at the time. That is not a problem that any of my friends are having. That is not a problem. Like my mum and dad would panic so much if I rang them. They wouldn't know what to say. So I think there's part of it where people can kind of pat you on the back, but they really can't say it's going to be okay. And I think that creates quite a lonely feeling.
But what I'm noticing now is all these points we're talking about are interlinking.
Yeah.
If you failed at something, then you realise you need someone.
Yeah.
I think being lonely, to me, is also builds resilience back to that point. However, I think as entrepreneurs, we often put ourselves through pain we don't need. There's people that are more successful than me in social media, and I'm trying to not name drop them, but like I have now begged them to help me, and they have. And I think that's the other thing. Asking for help's really hard, especially like I'm supposed to be a business guru, for example, and I'm admitting I don't know something to anybody else. It's kind of like, oh, I've got to admit I don't know that.
Yeah.
But asking for help is so hard. I mean, actually giving help is easy.
Yeah.
Easier. If you ask me for help, then I do it straight away.
Agree with that.
But would I ask you for help? I'd be like, oh, I'm scared to ask.
Yeah.
But when you do it, people really respect it.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing is to ask for help. And I think lonely definitely happens for entrepreneurs. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are very lonely. I think, though, if you think about entrepreneurs generally, if you ask them for help, they will help you. People need to reach out more.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's who you know, it's who you ask. People won't understand you. This I can really relate to. Tell us your insight here.
I think it just links to like an idea being crazy until it's not.
Yeah.
Until it's done and until it's successful. It sounds super crazy. Like me launching a fashion brand was like, I remember telling people at ASOS that I was launching a fashion brand and I was so embarrassed and people did not get it. People were kind of like, I think people were definitely expecting me to maybe be back there one day or anything like that. Most people aren't going to understand what you're kind of saying. And I carried a lot of embarrassment. I remember the first time I launched Odd News. This is another thing as well. Like the first few months of business feel so embarrassing. Like I remember launching my first collection and it didn't necessarily like go that well. And I was living at my boyfriend's at the time and his family would be like, oh, did you sell out today? And I'd be like, no, I'm just going to go upstairs and cry. And my family would do the same. I'd get a call off my mum. Did you sell out today? No, and you kind of have
They're doing it because they love you, but it's also a bit of pressure.
Absolutely, they're so excited for you. They want to know how your day's been. The intention is so pure, but it feels so embarrassing. And yeah, a lot of people don't really understand what you're doing. And even saying no, like my mum would panic, like, oh God, she's not sold anything today and stuff like that. So I think most people don't understand what you're doing until it really, really works. And it's going to feel kind of like embarrassing explaining yourself.
Do you think also you don't understand yourself yet? Because you're going through a journey that you haven't got to the other side yet. So even, although you believe in your idea, there's also an element of like you're discovering your own resilience, ability, you're discovering your own ability in general.
Yeah.
Because we have limiting belief systems as well, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us don't think we can do it until we do it.
Number 11 is you'll question everything, and that's normal. And this is actually something that's come up for me this week. I was literally putting in ChatGPT this week. My business has hit 30 million. I told them...
Woohoo! That's a big moment.
I told them, well, we did 30 million in 2024.
Okay.
And this year we're kind of like, every other year we've been 200% on the year. Difference between £500,000 to £1 million is different between 30 million to 35 million, for example. So the growth feels a little bit slower, although I kind of wanted that at the beginning of the year. And I'm putting through ChatGPT. My business is at 30 million. I think we'll do similar numbers this year. Is that bad? Should I be running the company? Should I get someone in? Is my experience able to take me to that next level, or have I reached my cap? And I have moments like that every single week. The point is that you just have these moments of panic where you can't sleep and you'll question everything. And it's not, I didn't wake up this morning and quit because last night I was asking AI if I'm capable enough to keep scaling this company. The point is I had a moment last night and it's very, very normal. And you'll question everything like that to the detail. I'm telling them my age, my experience, everything I've done in the last 5 years and asking someone, can I continue to do this? And I think, my point is it's normal to be so in the detail and question everything.
It's so amazing to hear you say this stuff because there aren't many people that are documenting the journey like you're documenting it. Because most people I know that have made it, they're documenting what happened in a very kind of like dreamy sense. But that self-doubt thing, it's so powerful.
I document so much self-doubt.
It's so great.
I am the poster child for like normalising like being really sensitive in business and not knowing what's going. Like I have made myself that person from day one because I'm not trying to make it look easy.
But what I love about the way you explain this is because I think a lot of people, when they see entrepreneurship, they think it's this magical thing and somehow they can't do it because it's about total belief and total self-confidence, which is what you hear all the time. There is an element of that, but there's also this kind of questioning, how can I be better? What am I doing wrong thing that really sharpens you up, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's just people listening, there'll be people 100% listening to this right now having self-doubt.
Yeah.
And they'll think that that's not normal and they're not cut out for it. But that's exactly how you get better.
It's part of your story.
It's so powerful. Okay, the final thing, let's talk about it. Overnight success takes years, 100%. A lot of people, by the way, think that I'm big on social media in the last year. I've been doing it for 5 years.
As well. Everyone thinks that about Odd Muse. I was planning Odd Muse on my commute to ASOS every single day for 2 years.
How long ago did you start?
I started planning it in 2018. I launched it in 2020. Right. Within 3 months, we reached £100,000 in revenue.
Right.
So everyone kind of thinks that we are this kind of like overnight success, but there was so much work that went into it. And one thing people don't talk about is how hard it is to maintain.
Right.
Do you know how many people have gone viral and had overnight successes and not been able to maintain it?
A lot.
Maintaining it is the hardest thing. I got a bit of momentum in 2020 and I promise you I have not stopped since
You took
then.
the luck and you ran with it. That's one of the hardest things. Some people don't take the luck and run with it.
So many people, we had an experience where like a really, really big influencer picked us up and I knew from the get-go it kind of had to be her. It was meant to be. She actually purchased the blazer and posted about it completely organically. Amazing. So that set me up for like an even bigger moment. And a lot of people go back to that moment like, oh, Odd Muse is only this because Lorna Lux posted about her.
Right.
And Lorna Lux has said in many podcasts that is not the case.
Right.
And what I did was, I had a bit of luck. I had a momentum. She loved my product enough to buy it. So there's something I did there. But I have not let conversation about Odd Muse die since that moment.
This luck thing, I tell you, everyone does actually get a bit of luck. I have a theory you get luck 8 times, by the way, in business. You get it.
Okay.
And if you miss one, it's a growth opportunity missed.
Yeah.
But that is so important, that what you're saying there.
Maintaining it is all about momentum. And in my head, even I was 23 years old when that happened. And, she wore it. We took like £60,000 in one day. And I'm sitting on the sofa at home looking at my mum and dad, looking at my iPad, like, what's going on here? And I didn't know anything about business then, but all I told myself is people are going to talk about Odd Muse and what we're doing every single day. And if I sense conversations dying out, I'm spending everything on a party in LA. I'm spending everything to open a store when everyone's telling me not to.
Part of me wants people to stop talking about it for a week so we can have a party. That's a pretty good strategy. I just think it's such an important thing to end this education on. People need to really leverage the opportunities ahead of them and say yes to more things and no to some things. But really kind of, I'm reading your text here, which I really love. Getting there is hard, staying there is harder. Getting there is hard, staying there is harder. Powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you so much for having me
Honestly, fantastic. Guys, links down below. Go follow this incredible human. We're now off to have some chicken. Don't bother subscribing. See you later.